In addition to the technique presented in the previous lesson for assigning colors to parts in an assembly, SOLIDWORKS also offers a more interactive method using something called the display pane. To show the display pane, click here, and notice a window slides out with some columns next to the parts in the Feature Manager tree. Each of these columns controls a different graphical quality of each part. For example, by left-clicking on the icon in this first column, I can hide this part in the assembly. By left-clicking in this column, I can change how this part is displayed. This column allows us to change the part's color. And notice it brings me to the same color and optics dialog we used earlier. Finally, the last two columns allow me to select the texture and transparency of the respective parts. While the display pane certainly makes it much easier to edit the visual properties of each part quickly, the greatest strength of the display pane is the capability to create something called display states. Display states are simply variations of the same assembly with different visual properties for each part. Let me switch to this assembly to show you an example. This oil pump has some internal components that I would like to be able to see, perhaps to work on. So I would like to hide the housing and change the display of the gear and cover to wireframe so I can see the internal components from both sides. Using display states, I can quickly create this type of view and still be able to quickly switch back to the original shaded display. First, we need to create a new display state. To do this, right-click in any of the columns in the display pane and select Add Display State. Type in the name for your new display state, and hit Enter on your keyboard when you're done. The newly created display state becomes active. Next, simply make the desired visual changes to the parts. That's it. We've created a new display state for this assembly to view the internal components of the pump. To switch between display states, right-click on the display pane button and select the display state you would like to activate from the list.